Rolling on Arby's 7 audio right now, and I'm going to click play. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Nate's Minecraft Arby's World, where it's currently December 9th, 2025 at 11:32 p.m. is what I was typing. This is a voiceover episode again, but we're going to see how many it goes. This is at least number 7. But there's the hay barn I was talking about on somewhere else, and then I called it Season 2 house, like Season 2 of Fish Tank, because I kind of went 70s theming because of the colors and the layout. With the snowball thing, it literally, basically, not glitched, but it had made stone come up from the ground where I was filling in the stone I removed, and then it made this big block, so then I made a snowball, changed stone to hay, and here we are. And then I threw it down the caves next to it too, so this is just me kind of checking that out. And also I want to shout out Little Brother Travel. Check out that channel. It's got Immortal HD / Alex and Brett and Lindsay of Cow Chop / The Creatures. Really epic. They replied yesterday. Me and Chris went to Joliet, Illinois, and I was at the Texas Roadhouse for the first time. Finally got to try a bloomin' onion. It was really good, but they dropped their Detroit episode 1 while we were in there, and I'm like, dude, look it. You think I'm going to get paddled in here if I don't finish this bloomin' onion? But they dropped that episode, and I commented where I was and when I was eating, and they replied with like, what did you order? I'm like, yo. So that was epic, but shout out to them. Very funny, very cool. Ooh, it's the Liquid Death pink powder packet Joe gave me for my birthday in some water I left in my window all night because it's cold as fuck. It's actually December 15th right now at 1:42 p.m. But this is me going to the basement. I connected to the mega cave, which we will get into some more, and actually try to do a survival mining time in there, and then we'll fucking, I don't know, hollow it out, fill the fucker up with something. We got plenty of ideas. I just roped that off. While I was recording this, I was actually on and bullshitting with Joe and Chris on Discord. Or I was just doing it. I think I was on still, but yeah. And then there's a second one here, which maybe we can make the Arby's over here. I don't know. I was thinking about adding it on this side, because it used to be over there on the big flat walkway, but I mean over here could be kind of cool, like right there, the Arby, since it used to be a big thing, but then like right in this space towards the sand. I don't know, you guys gotta let me know. I hope these keep rolling out, because it's been fun. We've also got Nate's Minecraft server series. I gotta record for this month on that too, but October into November was a little wonky for that, but I'm excited to get back in and do a decent amount of regular episodes on there, as well as in here. That's been very fun on my brain. Full size Audacity, so I can get like 5 minutes on the scope. There we go. And then I just like all this. I'm waiting to see all the grass grow. I fill in some of the water that messed up here, and like I grabbed this torch, but I just kind of left it because some of it was me fixing the big sunken areas that you guys saw. And yeah, but the way I make the water flow here is pretty cool. I didn't want to connect it to that mainland over there because it still kind of keeps it as an island-ish, I guess. Well, I guess no, it doesn't, because it connects elsewhere, so fuck it, I could do it there. But the water are at opposite spots right there, and then you just walk around all this, and there's other, like that's flowing on purpose too. So I had a lot of fun messing with the intricacies. And then when you're under there looking up at the ice, like the sky through the ice veins through that, it just looks really cool. It wasn't intentionally, but I was like, well, it's already going to freeze anyway, so we're just going to leave it, and I thought it was cool. We get some chicken eggs here. Now, the main part of this episode of why I started recording was like, I'm alright. I'm going to show some stuff off that I forgot to, like the hay house, but I wanted to wrangle up those guys too, the Arby's sheep. Muted because I had to burp, sorry. And we did that, or we do that, or we might. But we don't have a place to keep them just yet. So we're just sort of hopping around, and I'm making sure to show you guys all this stuff in like a gaming context. This is me going under the water to the blue walled base thing I made. And honestly, in here, this looks really cool. This is one of my favorite builds I've done in a while. I'm like, yeah, I actually did pretty good on this one. I think it was pretty cool. You know? Like, it just sounds cool, it's quiet, the colors are really nice. I had to pull my phone out of my pocket. But then I'm like, I want to start something in here. I want to build something so there's a reason to come down here. Maybe like a secret way to get out, be a teleport or something else too. But I just kind of start a little bit of a basement for funsies, just to like remind myself that I have somewhere to dig at and to do something in it when I get in. But yeah, hope y'all have been doing well. It's been crazy. Been trying to get some stuff back together, but I've been reading a lot more books and some graphic novels / comics. I like to read them as a volume or a compendium and to own them that way, because it's like the soft cover or the hard cover of all the issues and some bonus stuff, usually like a prologue or bonus, like, you know, ending or little stuff like that. But the ones I've been reading was, I got the first issue for free on Google Books, Google Play Books, and I like that app a lot. But it was a comic issue 1 called Manifest Destiny, and it was essentially a reworked story of how Lewis and Clark sorry, I was just handed a note off screen. That was hilarious. How Lewis and Clark had like an expedition to explore the new lands, essentially, and like rid them of any terrors that would be there. And they come across this giant megalithic vine arch, and some crazy stuff ensues with creatures and such. But I was hooked on it on issue 1, and I'm like, how much for the rest of the issues digitally? And it's $2.99 at a digital issue, and I'm like, or like $11 to $14 for the volumes, etc. I'm like, I could just buy the real fucking comics for that much, dude. And so I did that. I didn't buy all the comics. I found one person selling volume 1 through 8, which is unfortunately all, I guess. I went from like 2013 to 2022, I want to say. But I mean, hey, I don't have to wait for the next issues to come out, so I'm not complaining. And I got them all for, let me think, 8 of them plus shipping. It was like $115, which I was like glad I could afford that for this one. But I read those, or not read them, got them in, and I've currently already read 1 through volume 3. And it's just really cool. Like, I love the art, and the story does have some trigger warning moments in it for people who are, you know, it's got a historical accuracy to the tone for some things, but they present it in not a neutral way, but in not such a, like, I don't know, Tarantino type of way where it's like, yeah, let's say all the buzzwords, let's say all the banned words, let's say them all, let's show it. And it's like, there's a little graphicness of, like, not killing, but like defense, like creatures, etc. type things in there too. But I would strongly recommend that. It's a very cool comic series, digitally, or hey, listen, if you're into buying shit digitally and you got the money for it, or you get coupons or whatever for like birthdays, like Google Play Store, etc. This was a quick save. Also, it was right there. I was like, I'm gonna drown. That's also why I left that, and then I started filling some water in. But I'm like, you know, Google Play gift card, you can use that shit on Pokemon Go. Same with an iTunes gift card. You know, anything like that. So if you want, you get those, and you get digital books or comics. They have a ton of different ones you could choose from. Go for the ones that say volume, because it's individual comic issues, and then volumes are like issues 1 through 50, and then a compendium is the volumes of issues. So it's essentially just the comic book keeps getting bigger and bigger and more thick as it goes down that line. But if you're really liking a series and you want to get more for your buck, shop and compare, of course, but go for volumes if you don't want a heavy, thick book. The first year of the Arby's yarn. Definitely just go for the volumes or the compendiums of stuff if there's a lot of issues or it's been older, etc. And then some stuff they like, I wonder, Marvel would have had to take in classic issues of like Avengers and shit and upscaled the HD-ness or whatever of the original arts to make compendiums and volumes of all that by now, right? So like if you're into that kind of stuff and you want to work backwards and see where the movies more or less got their inspiration. I know some stuff was creative liberties of directors and stuff. Not getting into that. I like a lot of movies. If they're cool, they're good, story, etc. But I'm not going to freaking freak out over it. But definitely very fun. Volumes, compendiums, or comics. If people have a big collection they're wanting to sell of comics for a good price, they usually sell them cheaper, but usually everybody has to be greedy and get their bag, you know. And they're like, oh yeah, I paid $5 for all these issues. Each one online is $15 now, so I need 20 per issue. And it's like, shut up, man. Like, damn. And yes, this is me trying to get sheeps through a door, but you could see in this build, maybe they changed it, you can't get sheep through a fucking door at all. So we will have to change this, but this is temporarily the red sheep housing for the Arby's decor that we will be making the building with. I'm going to do that bit in survival again. Everything else, if I spawn it in, etc., to some degree, that's just how it is. I started this in like late 2019, early 2020. Let it ride for a while. COVID era happened. Early 2021, I brought it back for the last episode. And then it kind of was sitting for a while. I brought it back for a 0.5 in 2023 when I got the worlds working. Slash, I knew they were working where they were at, but not the state of how many of them, etc. So once I got that done, I was like, all right, let's go. And then a year went by. But I got a lot back into N8's Minecraft server last year and got a ton of cool, really good episodes with that, both in building-wise and storytelling. Storytelling meaning real life or like stuff I see, etc. Just the way I talk. And I got to get back into that too. And got some other builds I remembered I was working on. But it's such a weird series on that one because it started off with the idea of me being on it solo and then friends coming and going whenever. And then they tend to just go more than they arrive most times in the server, so it's like, well, still friends with and talk to most of the people who've been on there, but just, yeah. This effect was kind of cool, digging up these. It was annoying getting back in there with what I had on me. I should have just switched it to creative, but when I dig all the squares out and then swim straight down as they're sinking, they're done sinking, they start floating. I liked that effect. And then there's just squid there. This water's pretty good. But I gotta add skylights over that so that I don't remember if the grass needs actual direct skylight to grow or if it's just gonna scatter around the room like real light would. Then I made it a little bit lower. Lowish. Just so they get a little bit of water. Not that they can really drink it, but they should. I do fix the fucked up chest too. That is a remnant of porting it back from Xbox One to PC. Because when we made the Arby's, actually on it was like the one episode I did on PC. Because it was started, I might have done a few on it, correction. But the last episode for sure I did of it was on PC, ported from Xbox One. Because I started it on that and was playing a lot on the small clear X prison monitor that I had got from Goodwill. And don't hold your breath. We're underwater in a video game, and we make it. So, but yeah, I was using a little TV with no speakers, and then external speakers or headphones plugged into it, and just from like January 2020 through a few months, would play the hell out of this one. And just listen to like Sebademic's album. Shout out to him a lot. I listen to Xeno God. That's one of my favorite EPs of all time. It's a really, really solid one for like deep bass and cool lyrics and lyrical flow, vocal flow. I like it a lot, but shout out to him. We've got to talk some more on his stream and on Discord and such in the last couple years since then. So really cool. But a lot of time in this world of just listening to music offline, and back then I was drinking more, and then it switched to weed in 2021, thankfully for me. But yeah, just playing this world, listening to music, like some Juggalo stuff like ICP, Twisted, Blaze, Dark Lotus, Young Wicked, all that, or just random stuff too, like CKY. But a lot of times I'll just like listening to some cool rap stuff, and just the beats and the lyrics are either funny or relaxing or insightful, because I had so much that I got to collect them but didn't get to listen through some artists yet. Like ICP and Twisted, I've listened to all their stuff a ton. Same with Blaze, but some of the other artists like Young Wicked, Axe Murda Boys, Boondocks, and then any of the multiple groups, which today Buckshot, Twisted, and Boondocks put out a new album together. So I gotta check that out. But yeah, just lots of different music, and then I've been kind of getting back into that with some metal again. Started with when Ozzy passed, I got back into Black Sabbath again and him, and then I forgot how much I loved Ronnie James Dio. And then when Dio died, as a kid, I really liked his vocals, and I just like was so sad that he died. I like stopped listening to him, and then I got back into him, and when he sang for Elf and Rainbow, and then the second, and Black Sabbath, and then of course Dio as a band. And you're saying Dio, like from the anime? Yes, they named the character Dio after Ronnie James Dio as the Stan or whatever. But yeah, that's cool. No hate. I just the Gavin specifically, shout out to Gavin the trainer. One day when I said Dio, he's like, "You know Dio?" And I'm like, "I know why you know Dio, and it's as the character from that, but he's based off of the music guy I'm talking about." And he's like, "Ah, yes." I was like, "Okay, well that's cool. At least you do know who I'm talking about." Because some people are just like, "Oh yeah, I know that anime," and I'm like, "Fuck!" But you know, I just always like having a lot of projects and seeing somebody as a singer like Dio and a vocalist, lyricist in so many different amazing projects. Then some of them even before Black Sabbath and stuff, before Rainbow, like he was in 2 fucking bands that did world tours with. One of them did tours with Deep Purple, and then got their records. The band called Elf got records on Deep Purple Records and toured with them, and that's how Ritchie Blackmore split from Deep Purple with Dio and formed Rainbow, and that's why it's Ritchie Blackmore's Rainbow. The first 3 albums and a studio album are Dio singing, and they're amazing. There's Kill the King on there, and Long Live Rock and Roll, and Temple of the King. There's so many good ones, but Kill the King was one of the first ones I heard, and damn, dude, that is such a amazing song. We're rescuing the sheep. I'm trying to just go quick here in this part. But yeah, just it's really cool seeing all that stuff and getting back into it and just really fully exploring. Before I would like explore the hits because I would be like a kid with whatever CDs or digital files or YouTube stuff I could find without knowing what to look for, because I'm like, oh, I don't know that song, I'm not listening to it. But now I just hit shuffle on the artist or whatever, and I just figure it out. And if I like a song, I like it, and I remember the title, you know. Every time one tries to go in, they can't. And then the other one tries to go out, and they can't. So I just have to hook them both. I'm like, okay, well, this is dumb. We need a better paddock. A releasing system. Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez, Rick. We're 17 minutes through the file. There's 32 minutes on the file. Should this be episode ending?